Start. To open the Arteriograph software, double-click the Arteriograph icon and a login dialog window will appear. You can press simply OK to log in with the standard login name. Just click yes the next time. Now you are entered with the default login name called Arteriograph. I will add a new patient here. These light yellow fields are mandatory to be filled out. The arm circumference is needed to get the correct cuff size. So you can see that the correct cuff size for her is the number 2. We will use cuff number 2. Usually we prefer to measure on the dominant arm. So if she is a right-handed person, we will measure on the right upper arm. Now one of the most important things is the ugulum symphysis distance measurement, and I will show you how to measure it. For that, either you use the standard tape measure, or it's better to have a so-called caliper. This is not the standard that we supply with the set. Standard, we just supply a simple tape measure. Now the distance that I would like to measure is from the ugulum, which is the suprasternal notch. So this is suprasternal notch, to the pubic bone, which is right here. You have to palpate it. So this is the upper edge of the pubic bone. Okay, and this is the distance that we are interested in. So now, if I make the measurement, it will give me a reading here, around 51 centimeters. Is that correct? So that is a good estimation of the true aortic length. So that's how we get the distance from which we can calculate transverse velocity. You can select the gender, smoking habits. You can even add cholesterol data, for which you can select the unit. You can enter here contact details of the patient. You can add some comments here, like if the measurement was made in sitting position, whether the measured lady was pregnant, in what trimester she was in, whatever comment you would like to add here. Next one is a risk profile. This is a free editable text field, so you can enter whatever you would like here, like diabetes mellitus being as a cardiovascular risk, any family history, whatever can act as a risk marker. And the last one is medication. We always suggest to enclose all the medication that the patient takes at the moment. That helps the evaluation a lot. Just click OK here. The patient data saves successfully to the database, and now you have this newly registered patient as the default patient. If I would like to start the measurement now, I put on the cuff to the patient, so I always use the suggested cuff size. You can leave a thin layer of fluid between the cuff and the arm. If it would be too thick, I would ask the patient to take it down. Now, this is how you put on the cuff. Okay, so you can see that it is quite tight. So my finger just hardly can be inserted beneath the cuff. and this is how you attach the tube to the device. So that's how you make the system ready for the measurement. To start the measurement, you don't have to do anything else than to press the start button, and after that you will get a confirmation window just as a reminder of what the suggested cuff type was. Just press yes. Now you can see that the device and the computer are communicating, and this is how the measurement starts. In the first phase, a simple blood pressure measurement will be performed. And this is a very nice feature of the device, that you can see the registered oscillation online. So right at the moment you can see how big the oscillations are, how the forms change with the different cuff pressures. So nothing fancy here, this is just a simple blood pressure measurement. Now that was the end of the first phase. Now the blood pressure values are obtained, and according to the obtained values, two different pressure steps will be performed now. The first is the so-called diastolic pressure level. So this is one phase where some of the arterial function parameters are obtained from, and now this is one of the most important steps, if not the most important. This is the suprasystolic pressure step, from which step the pulse velocity, augmentation index, and central systolic blood pressures are calculated. So you can see here the very characteristic waveforms of the suprasystolic pressure level. Now that's how long a simple measurement takes. These are the set of parameters that can be obtained with the arteriograph unit, and I don't think that it is much more uncomfortable than a simple blood pressure measurement. Now on to the evaluation. First of all, I will detach the cuff from the patient. That's it. So these are excellent results with excellent waveforms. So we usually prefer the waveforms to have two clearly distinguishable peaks, first and the second peak. Just to highlight you one peak, let's go back to the suprasystolic reading. To highlight you one wave, you can do it this way. This is the first systolic wave, this is the reflected systolic wave, and this is the end of the systole. So these all happen within the systolic period of a heart cycle, and if you have two peaks like this, you can be quite sure that the calculated results are accurate. Pulse velocity is one of the most important parameters obtained this way. Augmentation index is a very good predictor of cardiovascular outcomes, and central blood pressures, namely central systolic blood pressure and central pulse pressures, are very important parameters also. So, just to go back to the automatic analysis, I press this button up here. These are the automatic results. Let's see how a printout looks like. Now I selected the printer, and this is the form of the printout. First, patient data, risk profile of medication. If I would enter anything here, that would be listed here, of course. Measurement data, and now on to the results. First of all, suprasystolic records, but these are just the brachial or peripheral blood pressure records. These are the central or aortic blood pressure records. These are the parameters obtained from the diastolic phase. These three altogether are called cardiac fitness parameters and show you how the coronary perfusion is for that particular patient. The higher the DRA and DAI numbers are, the better the coronary perfusion is, showing a good condition of the coronaries or the heart itself. This is a quality control index. It should be in the green area. The yellow area here would show you that next time you should be careful with that measurement, ensuring that there is no disturbance, no movement, and no anything that can affect the oscillometric measurement. If the quality control would be in the red field, it would automatically mean that you should repeat the measurement and reject the calculations from this measurement. Now we are in the green, so that's correct, that's perfect. Technically perfect measurement. This is a calculated pulse-wave velocity and the return time. Of course, pulse-wave velocity is calculated from the return time. As a very, very good feedback to the user and to the patient, we give the age-related pulse-wave velocity value. So this is a reference chart based on European population, which shows that according to her age, this patient is right at the average regarding the pulse-wave velocity, so she is quite in a fine status now. Should she be above the 90th percentile, that would mean that she is in the extreme upper 10% of her age, meaning that she is in a high-risk mode. So, just as a quick reminder, the thick blue line is the average at all ages or age groups, and the different lines refer to different percentiles of that specific age group. And we give finally an estimation of the patient's arterial age, which is a very trendy phrase right now. So we would say that her arteries are 34 years old, which is quite in a good accordance with her real age. If there is a great difference between the two, that gives you some warning about the status of the patient. Okay, we always prefer these values to be in the green field, meaning that the arteries for the patient should be always as young or even younger than the calendar age of that patient. In the yellow line, that's just a warning, but if they are in the red field, then you can be quite sure that the patient is in a high cardiovascular risk. Similarly to the other softwares of Tensiomed, you can save the report directly into a PDF now. I will do that onto the desktop. Now you can see this is the PDF generated right now. And it looks completely the same as in the software. So this is how the PDF of the printout looks like. Let's go back to the software. I will close the print preview now and go into some more functions. If you would like to search in the database, please click Open. There you can see all the patients recorded under the specific user. Either you can search by using the quick search function, and by quick search function I mean If you press a series of letters here on the keyboard, it will search for the initials of the family name. So if I press TEST, once again TEST, it will jump to test. You can also use a more sophisticated search function, like here. It not only searches in the family name, but also in the first name. So if I would like to search for Andrea, it will give you Andrea wherever it finds the first instance of Andrea. You can also search for date of birth or ID number. You can delete or add a new patient, or you can select an already defined patient to be your default patient for the next measurement. Some more functions. This is edit report, which is the same as opinion. So this is where an expert opinion can be given by the medical doctor. It can be saved. This is an export function, which makes an export of the selected patients. As a first step, you should select the user from which you would like to export the results. Then you should select some or even all of the patients under that user. And as a third step, you can define the time range in which you are interested. Now I would like to export all the measurements of the selected patients. Now if I click export, it will generate a formatted text file. Now I put it onto the desktop. And this is export data 3 that we got. If I double click it, I just set it up to be opened in Excel. Now you can see that the name and the contact details of the patient are listed, along with the characteristics, examination date and time, ugulum symphysis distance, and from here on, these are the arterial function parameters with augmentation indices, pulse rate velocity, central systolic blood pressure, peripheral pressures, and heart rate. So that's how an exported file looks like. Now let's go back to the software. This is how you start a measurement, and this is how you start a repeated measurement. So if you are working on a protocol, on a study, then you can set up the device to measure automatically several times in a row. For example, I can set up a test 30 minutes long with a frequency of 10 minutes. That would result in 3 consecutive automatic readings with 10 minutes intervals. That would mean that if I press start here, I can leave the patient and the whole system alone. It will automatically perform 3 consecutive measurements with 3 minutes differentials. That would take a study as long as 30 minutes. So that was a quick start guide how to handle arteriograph. There are some finer little details which you can access from the user's manual of the arteriograph.